afternoon, Miss Isabel Go. We just have a few questions because we are currently studying. We're fourth year students from interior design, and we are taking up business management class. And we just have a few questions about you as a designer, especially your firm in Iloilo, since you've been in the industry for a while. So we want to know your insights and we want you to share your experience as a designer. Okay, so first question. How did the firm start? Like, how many were you in the team when you started, and how many are you in the team now?
Um, I started in 2009, but it was not with the intention of the practice being a design firm. It was more of a trading business where the primary function is to sell wallpapers, blinds, and other interior design finishes and materials. And eventually, as years passed, I began to accept projects and the team just grew. So I started with just me and one assistant for the initial business. And after a year, I hired my first junior designer. And then eventually the team grew bigger. But we're still a small team. We're still 10 in the team right now.
What are the challenges in building a firm or starting a firm? Is there any advice to those like us aspiring to hopefully have our own firm soon?
Okay, challenges. You have to learn from the bottom. The biggest tip I can give you is to really work in a firm under a mentorship of a design professional, because that's my mistake. I directly plunged in and started my own firm, but my previous experience was not really rich in terms of working in an interior design firm environment. My previous work experience was more into marketing, sales, but related to interior. And even while I was in college, I was a working student. So I worked for Manny Samson, I worked for architectural firms, but the experience for me was not enough. So I would highly suggest you apply first in a interior design or architectural firm and observe and absorb, and so that later you can apply the best practices in the firm that you worked with. Because my challenge was I had to do trial and error every time. And thankfully, we pushed through, and we've reached 10 years so far. And still, it's an uphill climb, but it's very fulfilling.
So was there ever a time where you wanted to quit? Was interior design really something that you envisioned yourself doing, like right now, or yeah?
Initially, I wanted to be an architect, but I was so I was so insecure kasi 'di ba pag architect, pag babae ka and then architect, parang iba yung tingin sa as compared to pag lalaki ka, mas masculine. And then but actually I I came to love interior design more as I was in college, and it's more of the nitty-gritty detailing that I love. Although I'm a big picture kind of person, I enjoy the process of putting things together to make the big picture um, beautiful, and more than that, functional. So if there were challenges, every day there are challenges. If there was a time that I wanted to quit, there are times, but you just have to push through, and you have to really understand and have that mindset. As long as you know why you're doing what you're doing, you know your why, then despite the challenges, you will still push through. Because wala namang work na walang challenge eh. 'Di ba? So you grow every time you encounter a challenge.
How do you keep up with the industry changes, like especially now, na Corona and everything? Like, how is it working during these times?
It's very challenging. One, we are a very visual profession where we deliver services well if we are there at the site. We see the proportion up front, not through a camera. So it really is a challenge since we cannot travel. Say, for example, for our projects in Manila. So communication via internet, via Zoom or Viber helps, but it's really different when you are in person. Even the colors of the swatches, of the materials, you can really decide if it's right in front of you. But if it's through the phone, sometimes iba-iba yung color pag nasa phone lang and through pictures. Another thing is another challenge we have now is managing the team. And um, in a work from home setup, I think wala namang nakaka-perfect ng setup now because first time natin ma-experience yung pandemic. So, every day is a learning process. Every day or weekly, we discuss with the team what can we improve, what can we develop, and how can we address, say, for example, site problems. How can we address the concerns of the clients as quickly as possible. And we learn as we meet every week naman, parang may team huddle kami, and we discuss ano yung goals for the week, what we should do, and what we should improve on. So far ganun yung nangyayari. And then there was a time lang nung start ng pandemic, it was really a pause. Parang nag-standstill. But after 3 months, parang bumalik na rin paunti-unti yung projects.
What defines your aesthetic? What is an Isabella Roblesca design? Like, what differentiates you from the others?
Um, hmm. Well, one, we are actually focusing more on the function of the space. Aesthetics comes secondary for us because our goal is to really improve the the lifestyle or the business for commercial projects of our clients. And then what you have noticed is initially when I was really yung puro ideas ko pa lang, my design aesthetics are usually very minimalist in terms of lines, but in terms of texture, I love to explore. And usually, my my goal is to help local industries. That's why we always promote local designers, we promote local businesses, and we help local craftsmen. And we usually specify them into our projects because one of our goal is to help in community building. Another goals of ours, another mission of ours is to help also young designers and aspiring designers, not exclusively interior designers, but even visual artists, and we collaborate with them. We also collaborate well with other architects and other allied professions. So we are not very exclusive in terms of our practice, but we are very collaborative in all our processes. And I don't I'm not sure if there's a certain kind of visual or branding in terms of our projects because each project, it's not our own aesthetics. It's the vision of our clients, and we just interpret them. We deliver what they want through our filter. So, we don't want na yung aesthetics namin yung magdidictate ng project. Gusto namin, it will still reflect their personalities, the client's vision, and the brand's vision for commercial projects.
So, was there ever a time that you turned down a client? If there was, then why?
Yes, if it's against our values and our mission and vision. So say for example, there was a client that approached me to do a motel. So it's not in our values to, it's against our values, and we had to turn it down. We also have projects who are really um very limited sa time, very tight yung timeline niya, and we have to explain to them that we don't do rush projects because our intention is to really create very yung projects na tama yung process, yung hindi siya copy paste lang ng mga projects.
How do you personally define business success? Is it the money, freedom, influence, or creative expression or innovation? So
I think
what is success for you?
okay, success for me is being able to improve lives of our clients and to be able to also help our young designers improve themselves. Because our mission event essentially is to make our clients happy, improve their lifestyle, and at the end of the day, once we make them happy, they become our billboard. They speak for us. And if we don't meet their requirements, ganun din, they will of course leave bad reviews. So you will you will feel naman fulfillment in all of these. It's for me it's not really monetary because although a business needs to be profitable to thrive. Of course, hindi naman pwede na puro, hindi naman donation yung ano natin, yung services. But we need money in order for us to thrive, in order for the business to function and to move forward. But essentially, what you leave behind in every project, what you improve, um, what the lives you improve in every project is a definition of success.
So to wrap this Q&A, just advice for future interior designers like us or students like us.
Future designers, never give up. Have grit and be resilient because hindi lahat ng designs natin ma-approve. You will encounter a lot of rejections, shut down yung ideas mo. And a lot of my staff question themselves if interior design is really for them, and I really have to do a lot of pep talk na it does not question your capabilities as a designer because design first is very relative. So it doesn't mean na pangit yung design mo. It's just na hindi mo nakuha yung requirement ng client. And once you give up, kahit once pa lang, it speaks na you're not as committed to interior design or to your profession. You will encounter a lot of rejections. We have projects na 20 times revision, ganon. So, it makes you tougher, it makes you more resilient, and that is what I want to leave. You be resilient and have grit.
That means a lot. Thank you so much, Ines. Yeah, so I guess that was it. Short lang. We just really
Right
want to
lang.
learn a thing or two from you. So we definitely did. So thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it. And I hope to see you soon after this pandemic.
Yes. You're welcome. I hope to see you soon too. Nag-visit naman kami ng Cebu from time to time.
Sige, Bes. Let us know if you're in town. We would love to meet you. Thank you so
All
much,
right.
Bes.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Stay safe.
So, we had the luxury to interview interior designer Isabella Go from Lido, and our short time shared with her gave us a glimpse and knowledge about what happens in the real world when we are faced with different clients and situations instead of blackboards and classrooms. She reminds us that failure and rejections will always be there. Different kinds of challenges will face you, but you can choose to face it and persevere because of it. And that every day is a chance to learn. Each day is a learning process, and that you could always learn a lesson from your mistakes, and you can choose and apply it into your practice for a better outcome.
The recent interview that we did with IDR Isabel Robles Go was really insightful. We definitely learned a lot from her in terms of designing for other people. That although you, a designer, have your own signature, you as a designer have your own identity, it should always be secondary. It should always reflect on the people's or the client's vision. You're basically just executing the vision for the client. I also learned the fact that as a designer, you really have to think in terms of business, in terms of designing not only for the sake of designing, but also you have to think of the business side of it, because in the end, it's still a business. And lastly, the fact that she was able to inspire people by telling us that it's not an easy route. Like, although she was able to create a name for herself, she still she went through the hardships. She went through the struggles. She had mistakes before in the past, but she actually learned from it. So it's really a really insightful interview with her, and I'm really appreciative for her time. That's all.